The 2005 CONCACAF Gold Cup was the 8th edition of the tournament, and it was held in the United States between the 6th of July and the 24th of July 2005. Now, I know what you're thinking. What the hell am I doing covering CONCACAF when SA is part of AFCON? Well, see, the thing is, SA along with Colombia were invited to participate in the tournament. And this was during Stuart Baxter's first reign as Bafana Bafana coach. And during this time, he was in the midst of trying to get SA to qualify for the 2006 World Cup. Because of that, there wasn't really an expectation for Stuart Baxter to go with like a full-strength squad, So, Baxter, he chose a squad of 22 players, and I will say he was forward thinking for a national team coach, in the sense that he wasn't afraid to try new things. So in his way, I guess his way of like increasing the talent pool, the selection pool, he essentially took the CONCACAF Cup squad to the tournament. And for those of you that don't know, the CONCACAF Cup is like a regional tournament in Africa held between like the southern nations. It's SA, Zim, Zambia, Namibia, Lesotho, Botswana, Swaziland, aka Eswatini, and I forgot it's 8 teams if I remember. I forgot the last team, but yeah. Usually the CONCACAF Cup is like played by like the B team of the national team. So for the Gold Cup, Stuart Baxter, he took our version of the B team of the national team to the Gold Cup. And you can see as 11 of the 22-man squad, they never really featured prominently for the national team before and after the tournament. So yeah. If we're going through the team, in goalkeepers, we had Calvin Marlin, we had Tawang Stemmer, and we had Lee Langeveld. In defense, we had Lucky Lahuate, Sponiso Gata, Lucas Twala, Phil Evans, Ricardo Katza, Craig Bianchi, and Peter Peterson. Midfield, we had Dane Clate, El Rio van Heerden, Stanley Gata, Siyabonga Nkosi, Hleza Mofedi, Regan Noble, and Gift Leremi. And in strike force, we had Siyabonga Nomvete, Abraham Rasilemane, and Lungisani Ndlela. As I said before, a lot of glaring, and we're gonna go through all these 11 players, starting off with Tawang Stemmer. Stemmer, at the time, he was like the second choice keeper at Pirates, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I don't know how he justified it, but he made the squad. So, Stuart Baxter, this is what I will say for all the players. Like, not necessarily that they're bad, that they can't represent the national team, but rather that I'll say that Stuart Baxter was trying new things out. Lee Langeveld had no idea who this guy was when he was selected. So, yeah. Lucas Twala, he was a right back at Pirates at the time. He was a solid option, starting right back. I don't really have complaints, Ricardo Katza, he was the center back at Supersport, solid option once again. Craig Bianchi, I don't know too much about him. I can't really remember him. Along with Peter Peterson, can't really remember him, so I can't really comment. Siyabonga Speaker, he was an average midfielder at the time in the PSL, Stanley Gata was captain of Silver Stars at the time, central midfielder. He was a decent player, I guess. Hleza Mofedi, another okay player. It's just that he was hampered by the fact that the Pirates team at the time, it was kind of stacked, so he was more so a second choice than anything. Regan Noble, he was an attacking midfielder at Wits. I wouldn't say he was a standout at the time, but he was okay, I guess. And the only player in that selection where I felt like, yeah, he could compete for a Bafana position was Abram Rasulemani, who was a SuperSport United striker at the time. Consistent scorer, very underrated player. Bafana Bafana were placed in Group C alongside Guatemala, Jamaica, and Mexico. And the expectation was that, like, looking at the strength of squad and looking at the opposition, at the very least, the guys should, like, make it get second position, because Guatemala and Jamaica at the time, they weren't that strong, you know. At the tournament, Bafana Bafana drew with Jamaica and Guatemala, and surprisingly, they managed to beat Mexico 2-1 to make it to the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup. But unfortunately, the team lost via penalties to Panama. But once again mentioned, considering the strength of squad, Stuart Baxter, he did pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. Stuart Baxter, for all his faults, he was a decent coach for the national team. And he would show it again in another tournament come later.